Into security now, an explosion rocked a mosque in Gadam village in Gezawa local government area of Kano state on Wednesday, leaving 24 individuals with various injuries. The incident occurred around 5:20 during the early morning prayer. A spokesman for the Kano State Police, Abdullahi Kiyawa, said preliminary forensic analysis showed that the explosion was expected to be caused by petrol. The injured, including 20 adult males and 4 male children, were transported to Murtala Mohammed Specialist Hospital for treatment. Kiyawa added that the scene was condoned of and the victims were rushed to the hospital where they are currently receiving medical care. We also understand that the principal suspect, identified as 38-year-old Shafiu Abubakar, has been arrested. Joining me on the news to discuss this is security analyst Saludeen Hashimu. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
What implications might this explosion have for regional security and interfaith relations in Kano State and Nigeria as a whole?
Well, okay, it is very important to first contextualize
Okay, I think he's been interrupted. The connection is broken. Let's see if we can get him again. All right, we might try and get back to that conversation. Okay, I understand he is back now. Saludeen, if you can hear me, could you acknowledge?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, go ahead with your response, please.
Yeah, so it was actually an issue that bordered around an unconventional explosive that rocked the mosque earlier this morning, and the information reaching was largely as a result of some domestic situation that resulted into that challenge. But the challenge that I want to highlight basically is around the access of citizens to explosive devices, which again brings to question the conversation around regulation. There's a poor regulation around the entire issue, which consistently has also become the need for government to put some policy strands that will help coordinate the issue of prevention and containment of people's access to stockpiles and explosive devices. What we saw very clearly was a case of a citizen who was able to procure, irrespective of how he used the combination, but again, it turned out to be some devices, and these are very veritable tool in the hands of terrorists. And how we manage this kind of procedure is actually quite unfortunate, because it would then begin to suggest to some groups the potential that they could also begin to deploy this kind of devices for the sake of distorting peace. But what we need now is actually a policy strand that will be able to contain, prevent, and also manage citizens' access to explosive devices. As it is, I've just spoken with the Commissioner of Police, and there seems to be some level of relative calm in the state, and they have actually tried as much as possible to isolate the situation from a general terrorism attack, which is quite comforting. So we will be reviewing the issues as we make progress, and then of course perhaps come back with some additional details regarding what has happened.
Okay, while we wait for those details, what immediate security measures should be taken in the aftermath of such an incident like this to ensure the safety of the local community?
Strategic communication, very fundamental. Security agencies must begin to speak to citizens, and particularly the locals, engaging them to let them know that there seems to be everything under control. They have contained the situation. Suspect is in custody, and then of course consistently debrief the general public on the progress that have been made, and that in itself will calm nerves, and of course will increase public confidence in the security agency's ability to be able to prevent and deter future reoccurrence of issues like this. But again, security agencies must also be at alert that this kind of occurrence might just be an opportunity to test the water. Kano has relatively been peaceful lately. I think it is actually a graveyard piece. And if you allow any form of distortion of that pattern, tendencies are there that it will actually create some sort of resurgence into what is already known as a very terrible environment for conflict. So there must be some level of intelligence that must be deployed at all levels, but most importantly, strategic communication must happen. And I think this is an opportunity for the Kano State Police Commissioner, who just recently won a community policing award. Of course, for his very constructive approach to non-kinetic method to again use that skill, soft skill that he has possessed to engage at different levels and begin to engage community and traditional leaders as to how they can speak to locals, because that for me would be some immediate step that will help us to contain and create immediate stability.
We do hope for that stability if we are to flourish religiously and economically. Thank you very much for speaking with us.